like God, knowing good and bad. For God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be open and you will be like God, knowing good and bad. Genesis 3, verse 5. Mankind's desire to be like God, knowing both good and bad, began in the Garden of Eden, precisely in the day Eve and then Adam ate the death-causing fruit. But you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, for in the day that you eat of it, you will surely die. Genesis 2, verse 17. Their eyes were opened, and they became like God, not just like, but like. To be made in God's image wasn't enough? How prideful we created beings can be, lusting after the knowledge that would make us just like our Creator. Genesis 3, verse 6, Isaiah 46, verse 5. Now it stands to reason we have trouble discerning between the two, even arrogantly denying our impaired judgment when calling bad good and good bad. Isaiah 5, verse 20. The eyes of Jehovah are in every place, observing or watching over the bad and the good. Proverbs 15, verse 3. Stop judging by outward appearances and start judging justly. John 7, verse 24. Of course, our Creator is all-knowing, declaring the end from the beginning. Isaiah 46, verse 10. When he placed the forbidden tree in his garden, it was a test. This testing is referred to figuratively as fiery trials, because testing purifies us the same way a crucible purifies gold. Only fire has the power to reveal, separate, and then bring impurities or bad to the top so it can be removed. It was the testing of man, or Adam, in Eden, the garden of God, where iniquity, or bad, was first found. Ezekiel 28, verses 14 and 15. The all-consuming fire purifies the ungodly, or bad, by his righteous judgment. Contrary to what we've been told, fire is good. It is not until the dross, or bad, is removed that the righteous, or good, can dwell with the everlasting flames. Isaiah 33, verses 14 and 15. Click on the link below to learn more about how backwards man's theology is from what the Bible says about the righteous fire. Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery trials that have come upon you, as though something strange were happening to you. 1 Peter 4, verse 12. The majestic plural. Behold, the man, Adam, has become like one of us, knowing good and bad. And now lest he reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. Genesis 3, verse 22. Notice how God says, like one of us? The plurality of greatness is common in ancient languages. The royal plural even carried over into Old English. For instance, a king or a queen would have replaced I, me, mine with we, us, our. American and more modern British English is quite different in that we only use the plural form to show quantity, or how many. This complicates the Hebrew majestic plural Elohim, when the same word is translated as both God and gods. Unfortunately, those who have never heard of a qualitative plural, attributes, would naturally mistake greatness for numerous. I suppose it is our confusion between the numerous attributes of our unseen or spiritual Creator and the things He created that He made sure His people repeated the following words from their waking moment until they slept. Jehovah is one. Jesus, or Yehoshua in Hebrew, also confirms these words, better known as the Shema, hear and obey, as the greatest, because all the commandments hang on our covenant faithfulness. Jesus replied, "This commandment is the most important. Hear, O Israel, Jehovah is our God. Jehovah is one. Love Jehovah with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. Mark 12, verse 29, Matthew 22, verse 40, and Deuteronomy 6, verses 4 and 5. Yes, he calls us gods. The Hebrew word Elohim means one of power and authority, but it is not always used to refer to the sovereign, eternally living, all-powerful authority, Jehovah, who is, was, and shall always exist. It's similar to the way our English uses the same word God for a false god, but we distinguish it by using a lowercase g. Elohim, on the other hand, does not have lowercase letters, so the same word is written the same way for anyone or anything with power and authority, including idols, rulers, husbands, parents, etc. God presides in the divine congregation. He renders judgment among the gods. Psalm 82, verse 1. I have said you are gods. You are all sons of the Most High. Psalm 82, verse 6. Jesus replied, Is it not written in your law, I have said you are gods? John 10, verse 34. If he called them gods to whom the word of God came, and the scripture cannot be broken, John 10, verse 35. All who worship images are put to shame. Those who boast in idols, worship him, all you gods. Psalm 97, verse 7. Solomon followed Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and Molech, the abomination of the Ammonites. 1 Kings 11, verse 5. Who wanted to be like the Most High? That would be us, mankind. So it says in Genesis 3, verse 5 and 22. As we read the following passages, remember the prophets Isaiah and Ezekiel lived long before the fictitious story of Lucifer was invented, and the biased Latin translation was inserted into Isaiah 14, verse 12. Click on the link Don't Blame It on the Devil for more information about the Lucifer lie. Let's compare what our Greek and Latin religions have taught us with the original Hebrew thought. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. Isaiah 14, verse 14. Who thought they would reach the heavens above the clouds? Here are two of several phrases from the Hebrew describing mankind's arrogance. And they said, Go, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach up to the heavens. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad unto the face of the whole earth. Genesis 11, verse 4. Though his arrogance reaches the heavens and his head touches the clouds. Job 20, verse 6. Who was created in the Garden of Eden, blameless until iniquity was found in them when they were tested? Who wanted to be like the Most High, like gods knowing both good and bad? It was, and still is, mankind. Son of man, take up a lament for the king of Tyre, and tell him that this is what Jehovah Elohim says. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. From the day you were created, you were blameless in your ways until iniquity was found in you. Ezekiel 28, verses 12, 13, and 15. Was the king of Tyre the seal of perfection, full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty? Of course not. That description hasn't existed since the Garden of Eden. The king's pride is being paralleled with the same pride of Adam and Eve, the pride that always comes before a fall. Proverbs 16, verse 18. Who then or what is the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty? Spiritual Zion. Figurative language is often used in the Hebrew to describe spiritual reality. Mashals are translated as proverbs or parables. Jehovah hides his spiritual mysteries for a purpose, to keep arrogant eyes and ears blind and deaf. Yet to this day Jehovah has not given you a heart to know, eyes to see, or ears to hear. Deuteronomy 29, verse 4. With that said, it is wise to begin every study of the word of truth humbly, asking for the eyes to perceive the wonderful things hidden in Jehovah's Torah, the way of truth and life. Open my eyes that I may behold wondrous things out of your Torah. Psalm 119, verse 18. Perfect in beauty is a unique description of Zion. From Zion, perfect in beauty, God shines forth. Psalm 50, verse 2. Zion, or Zion, is a synonym for the city of David that carries a spiritual meaning, preceding and surpassing our physical realm. Nevertheless, David captured the fortress of Zion. This is the city of David. 2 Samuel 5, verse 7. Zion is also a synonym for Jehovah's spiritual kingdom, the seal of perfection, bowl of wisdom, and perfect in beauty, is alluded to in the book of Ezekiel and Revelation as the temple, adorned with every kind of precious stone. Ezekiel 28, verse 13, and Revelation 21, verse 19. Zion is the renewed, everlasting, spiritual Jerusalem, the kingdom of Jehovah, God of gods, Lord of lords, mighty, awesome, sovereign of kings. Deuteronomy 10, verse 17, and Revelation 19, verse 16. Our Creator's ways are perfect, and He knows how to humble an inflated ego, while at the same time producing something good out of bad, like how to discern between the two so we will be able to judge righteously. Do you not know that you will judge angels? How much more the things of this life? 1 Corinthians 6, verse 3. Our knowledge of bad is temporary. Thank God we don't experience bad forever. We have hope of a future with no more death, weeping, suffering, or pain. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the former things have passed away. Revelation 21, verse 4, and Isaiah 25, verse 8. For now, though, we trust, even joyfully, because we believe the testing of our faithfulness produces good, making us complete, no longer lacking wisdom. James 1, verses 2 and 3. The lasting glory, or weight, will far outweigh anything we've experienced in this temporary life. For our light and temporary affliction is producing for our ego an age-lasting glory that far outweighs beyond any compare. 2 Corinthians 4, verse 17. Psalm 82. Elohim presides in the divine assembly. He renders judgment among the Elohim. How long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to those who do bad? Selah. Defend the cause of the weak and fatherless. Uphold the rights of the afflicted and oppressed. Rescue the weak and needy. Save them from the hand of those who do bad. They do not know or understand. They wander in the darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I have said, you are Elohim. You are all sons of the Most High. But like mortals you will die, and like rulers you will fall. Arise, Elohim, judge the earth, for all the nations are your inheritance.